I was a whole different bitch. In 2020, that was the worst year of my life. That was the worst. Like that's why, like on here, a lot of people. It's a lot of suicidal ass people. Like depression, especially when you really like going through somebody you don't know what they really going through. That's why y'all people be trolling these folk, but for real, some of these folk be crying out for help like a motherfucker. And I was like that. Like I was crying out for that shit, but I wouldn't like say nothing. Man, one night, this was in 2020. Me too. This was in 2020, y'all. One night, my husband, he was leaving. And I had just lost our baby. I was 6 months pregnant, and the baby died in my stomach. The heart started beating. And he was mad about that. And the nigga said some hurtful shit to me. He was like, fuck you and your motherfucking fucked up ass womb. You killed my baby. So that is striking me. And I was just zoned out. Like I could not control my thoughts. Like, and I told him, I was like, I want to die tonight. I was like, I want to die. And I was like, just leave the gun. I was like, if you gonna leave, I was like, go, because I can't take this. My heart hurt. I want to die. And he was like, whatever. I ain't even tell nobody else. And then I called my mama and I told her I said, I'm really depressed and I can't shake it. I was like, I can't. And I was just crying. She was like, just pray to God. Just pray to God. And I was like, I didn't need that right then. I really just needed my mama. Like, she should have just came. I didn't know, but my cousin told me, like, later on, my husband, he left, he was calling her. He was like, Victoria going crazy. I don't know what to do. I really was going crazy because it was too much. So that night while he was gone, I took it on. I stabbed myself all on my arm. Like, my shit was gussed out. Like, they had to push all my shit back in. And I bled out. My husband was gone for like 3 hours, so I bled out for 3 hours. I had to have 12 blood transfusions. I had to have 24 stitches in my arm. I had to go to therapy to learn how to use my arm again in 2020. And then I had to go to a psych ward therapy. Then they put me on meds. And after that, and like y'all, this is before like I had tried coke like maybe once when I was like 19 and never again. I barely smoked weed. I drank wine and I barely smoked cigarettes. Like I wasn't, I didn't really indulge. And I was like, I got out and they was giving me the medicines and then when I'm working, y'all, like when I tell y'all, I would take them, they would give me Zoloft. Probably like, and that's what I deal with. And it's like, people be hollering, cokehead. But little do you know, bitch, I probably was a better bitch than you. Before 2020, bitch, I was a better bitch than probably a lot of y'all hoes. Like, oh God, I had like 3 businesses, bitch. I was active as mother, too active. Everything revolved. I cooked dinner every day. I washed clothes, bitch. I had a big ass house. I'm young as fuck doing this shit with a whole husband, keeping one man. I don't give a fuck. My Instagram right there. That's why I keep all my shit. You can see my whole marriage. Like, I used to have the Christmas at my house. Like, I would cook everything, do everything. No, it wasn't that he broke me, because it wasn't just that. Life started breaking me in 2020. Because right after that, like, my grandmama was my mama. That was my best friend, bitch. I drunk my grandma, I smoked my grandma, I tell her everything. Like, I was closer to my grandmama than anybody. And when she died, that shit like shook my world. And not only that, I did something a lot of y'all couldn't do. I dressed my grandma for her funeral. I seen that stream where they do the autopsy in the back of her head and this blood holding her head. And I gotta put her wig cap on and put her wig on and get her dressed up. I had to do that shit and that shit was not easy. That shit still fucks with me. But that was my fucking grandma and that was my last little time with her intimately. I wish I could. I got the whole video when I was at the funeral home by myself. And I first came in there, y'all, it was so hard. I had a fever. I was sweating. And like they wouldn't even let me go in there because they thought it was like, you might got COVID, your temperature's too high, but I was just really like losing it. I just had to pray. I played her favorite music, all the music she liked, and just did it. You want to be able to do? It was the hardest thing I ever had to do. And honestly, I've done bodies before, but I haven't. I used to want to. I went to mortician school. I used to work at I went to Gupton Jones, and I did cremation, all of that, and I could do it with other people. But when it was my grandmama, well, that shit hit different. I haven't done it since, and I usually can, get me at least one, little get through, because that's how I really get through without a job. I got so many shits that I do. Like, I'm a licensed cosmetology. Like, all my shit on my IG. That's why I keep everything. Some people are like, why you keep all your pictures, like, from, 2017? I like to go back and look at my story and how shit changed. Like, I like to go back and look at when I went to cosmetology school, when I had my baby. I got the video. See my daughter. Right now, I'm dealing with a lot of issues with her breathing. Like, I don't know what's going on. A lot of kids are having issues, and I had to go take her to the doctor 3 times. Her nose was bleeding. She was having headaches. She didn't have COVID, and they've been giving her breathing treatment. So, come to find out, she has asthma, and she keep getting upper respiratory infection because she did that asthma pump. So, she been doing that, and I didn't know that till now. But she been doing that, and I feel like it stemmed from when my baby was born. Like, when I had Jewel, y'all, this is why I don't have another baby. I'm going to tell y'all the truth, why I won't have another baby. I have been pregnant a lot of times, but I will terminate. I'm scared I'm traumatized of that shit. Because when I had my daughter, she got, the cord got stuck around her, and I had gestational diabetes. And she was a preemie. I had my baby at 32 weeks. My water broke, so I had to have her. And she was bigger than, she ended up being 8 pounds at 32 weeks. If I would have went the whole time, she was going to be almost 11 pounds. So it was good that my water broke. I went on to have her. I pushed her regular, but she got stuck in my, when she was getting ready to come out, and the cord wrapped around her neck, and it cut off all her oxygen. She was a big baby. People was like, how is she a preemie? They was like, how is she a preemie? Oh, I'm gonna show y'all. I got pictures. So, hold on. She was just so big, y'all. She was a big girl. And then, not only that, so when I had her, she, the cord got, and they pulled her so hard that they ripped me. Like, I had to get stitched. They ripped me so bad. Like, it was bad. Oh, learning how to walk again and all of that shit was hard. Like, after that shit hurt. So, she was born, when I had her, she didn't breathe. Like, usually when you have your baby, you hear them crying. Like, ah. Bitch, my baby didn't breathe for 47 minutes. It was a crowd around her. They had trying to pump her chest. She was just blue and just lifeless. Like, I was over the end. They was trying to hide it from me. They was like, no, she's fine. Don't worry. Because I can't go in the shop. And I looked at my husband. I was like, oh yeah, it's something wrong. Because he looked like he was crying out. He was like, something wrong. He was like, Jewel. Finally, I was just praying. I was like, Lord, let my baby cry. Let my baby breathe. Let my baby cry. She finally, after 40, man, my baby was dead. Look, y'all got the whole picture. She was a purple, blue. She had to be on oxygen. She had to stay in the NICU. That shit was the worst shit. Like, that was the hardest 47 minutes of my life. To not hear my baby breathe. That shit was hard. Hold on, I'm finna show y'all a picture. Let me go into my baby. My bug. Hold on, I think I might have hid it from that album. Cause it's so sad.